You ever find yourself listening to a song and your foot just starts tapping to a beat that feels, well, a little bit off, but in the best way possible? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the secret ingredient that gives so much music its amazing energy. You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? A song comes on, and it's got this unexpected, punchy rhythm that just grabs you and makes you want to dance. Well, that little bit of musical magic has a name: syncopation. So, what is it really? Put simply, syncopation is all about playing with our expectations. See, most of the time, in a simple countdown like 1, 2, 3, 4, the strong beats are 1 and 3. But syncopation flips that completely upside down. It puts the accent, the emphasis on the weaker beats, or even in the empty spaces between the beats. To really get what syncopation is doing, we have to look at how musicians are kind of breaking the rules of rhythm. And it's this awesome rule breaking that makes the music feel so alive. Okay, check this out. Over on the left, you've got a standard beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's steady. It's predictable. You know exactly what's coming next. But now look at the right. With a syncopated beat, the emphasis is shifted to the 2 and the 4. The whole feel just changes completely, right? It creates this sense of surprise and really pushes the music forward. The secret to all of this lies in what we call the off beat. Think about it like this. If you're tapping your foot to a count of 1, 2, 3, 4, the off beats are all the little ands in between. 1 and, 2 and, 3 and, 4 and. That's the space where syncopation lives and breathes. It's where all the magic is. And by putting the emphasis on these off beats, musicians can do some really amazing things. It injects a jolt of energy and surprise into the song. It gives you this feeling of being pulled or pushed along by the rhythm. And honestly, it can turn a pretty boring, simple beat into something you'll never forget. Now, you might be thinking syncopation is some kind of modern invention, but no way. Its roots go deep, and they tell this incredible story about how different cultures came together. Let's take a quick look at its journey through time. This story starts centuries ago with the super complex and layered rhythms from West Africa. Then, fast forward to the 1800s, when those traditions met and mixed with European folk music right here in America. That incredible fusion eventually gave birth to ragtime piano in the late 1890s. You know, that ragged rhythm. And from there, it was just a short hop to the birth of early jazz in places like New Orleans. Okay, so we know what it is and where it came from. But how do musicians actually use it when they're playing together in a band? Let's meet the powerhouse of the group. In a jazz band, you have what's called the rhythm section. Think of these guys as the engine room of the whole operation. They work together to create that amazing syncopated groove. We're talking about the drums, the bass, and a harmony instrument like a piano or a guitar. Each one has a super important job. The drummer might keep a steady, consistent pulse going on the cymbals, but then, bam, they'll throw in a sharp crack on the snare drum right on an offbeat. The bass player lays down a solid foundation, often with a walking bass line that moves things along. Meanwhile, the piano is punctuating everything with these unexpected, punchy chords that really drive the rhythm. And that cool thing the piano player is doing, it actually has a name. It's called comping. It's just short for accompanying, and it's all about playing those syncopated chords to support whoever is playing the main melody or taking a solo. It just makes the whole sound so much richer. And hey, it's not just the rhythm section having all the fun. The soloists, like a saxophone player, use syncopation all the time to give their melodies this expressive, almost conversational quality. By playing just a little ahead of or a little behind the main beat, they can make their instrument sound less like a bunch of notes and more like a human voice telling a story. Okay, so this all brings us to the biggest, most important question. We know what syncopation is, but why does it have such a powerful physical effect on us? Why does it make us want to move? It all comes down to a really cool game of tension and release that's happening inside your brain. See, your brain is basically a pattern-seeking machine. It loves to predict what's coming next. When a song sets up a steady beat, your brain locks in. But then syncopation comes along and breaks that pattern, which creates this little moment of musical tension. And then, when the rhythm finally lands back on a strong beat, right where you expect it, your brain gets this incredibly satisfying feeling of release. It's that constant cycle of tension and release that makes you want to nod your head or tap your foot. And this isn't just a theory, There's actual science to back this up. It's pretty wild, but researchers have found that our brains actually show more activity and find more pleasure when we're listening to syncopated rhythms compared to simple, predictable ones. Our brains literally enjoy the surprise.
So, the next time you've got your headphones in, listen really closely. It doesn't matter if it's jazz, pop, rock, or hip hop. Listen for those surprising accents, for that little push and pull against the main beat. Because now that you're in on the secret, I guarantee you're going to start hearing syncopation absolutely everywhere. The only question is, what song will you hear it in first?